Hey y'all, I'm Charlie Bonner with Progress Texas, and this is Best of the Week, our weekly news roundup, and going with our weekly newsletter that comes out on Friday afternoon. All the news that you need to be a progressive in Texas. I'm here with Sam Robles,
hey everyone,
our
Happy
advocacy
Friday.
director. Thank you for joining me today, Sam. Cheers to
Cheers.
you. We made it through another
Cheers
week
to
of the
Friday.
Texas legislature.
Wonderful. Hey, Charlie, have you thought about doing a jingle for this?
Yes. I truly would like to invest in jingle writing for the Best of the Week programming. If you have any ideas for a jingle, please comment them, tweet me. My Twitter is @CharlieK Bonner. Send me a follow. And if you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed to the Best of the Week email, which comes out after this video. You can do that at progresstexas.org/subscribe, or you can do it in the comment section of this here video. I still have not figured out in
Where
what
it
direction.
might be.
Facebook makes literally no sense to me, but they're tracking everything we do. God bless them. So let's jump into the news. We're in the, we'll start every week with a legislative update. We are 2 weeks into the legislature
We're
this year.
2 weeks in, and I think what's really clear this session is, they're really getting, lawmakers are getting to work.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago was divisive politics. It was anything around immigration, LGBTQ, to bad abortion bills,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're actually getting to work. And so
It's so sad that that's genuinely surprising.
yeah, well, it's surprising, but I think it's also because they got a loud and clear wake-up call in November, right? They know that good voters are coming after them. So
I heard a really great thing. We're really hearing this focus on education and school finance. And one of the new Democratic senators, Johnson, from up in the Dallas area, was talking about how they weren't having those conversations before progressives showed up this November. So when Republicans are trying to take credit for this narrative, that's our narrative. They weren't doing these things without us. So I think that's something that's really important to keep in mind, that every conversation the entire Republican statewide ticket is having about school finance is because people like us showed up to vote in November.
And I think it's going to be even more crucial for voters to be engaged in the legislative process when things do get ugly.
Yes.
And so a couple of things that we have been working on at the legislature this week is both the House and the Senate released priorities for the state's budget. And so we're seeing some money trickle in for our education system and even for our teachers. And so there's a little bit of a difference between $9 billion and $6 billion to the Senate, but I think we're gonna definitely be keeping track of this, like showing how the money's being spent, how they want to spend it, and what are the key points that people are talking about. But I think it really shows a lot of we've gained 12 seats because people are watching and listening and want to be a part of this process.
Yeah.
So thank y'all. Another thing that came up this morning, so our elected leaders become part of either the Texas Senate or the Texas House. And within that body, there's committees that work on different bills. And so this morning we got committee assignments for the Senate.
I didn't know it had come out yet.
Yeah, I highlighted our progressives.
Look at you.
And so we're gonna be finding ways, we're gonna keep tracking all of the bills that are coming up that you can see in the blog, on the comments in here. But we're also going to find ways to make sure that your voice is being included in those committee hearings, that you're talking to your representative, to the members of that committee, because our voice matters every step of the way. Yeah. And so we'll definitely be keeping track, and we can post this on a blog.
Oh, that's perfect.
So folks have access to this.
Yeah, and that just came out right before we came on, so that's great news there. Anybody that we're seeing specifically that you're excited about, anywhere specific?
I'm really excited to see, so I think a couple folks, I'm really excited to see that Senator Jose Menendez from San Antonio is a part of the administrations committee, and I think, he's also the chair of the Senate Hispanic Caucus, and so I think it's good to know that some of our members have moved into a little bit more of a seniority or in that place. And I was actually pretty, there's been a lot of changes here. So for Health and Human Services, I've noticed that Jose Rodriguez isn't on it from El Paso, and neither is, I think Zaffarini was on it last year. So that's actually
some really high-ranking members. That's interesting.
High-ranking members, great advocates when it comes to women's health. They're no longer on those committees. And I think we're just gonna have to see how some of these issues play out, because even if it is
Yeah.
a bill, for example, in 2015, the bill that would take state tuition away from Dreamers, instead of it going to higher education committee, it went to state affairs. And so I think we just need to keep track of, we're gonna be keeping an eye on where bills
Yeah.
go and what's the political push behind those, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to take it up at state affairs.
Yeah, I think a great question we're getting from Lauren, who commented right now. I think you'd be great at answering this. How will the new court makeup affect this year's legislative agenda? How worried should we all be about the Kavanaugh presence? And I think we've seen so many horrific Texas bills end up in the Supreme Court that, we have a really unfortunate relationship with the Supreme
Yes.
Court. So what are you seeing there? What are we hearing, especially in the abortion rights kind of movement over there?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of ways that abortion advocates across the state are standing up and doing a couple different things. There's a lot of community organizing happening at the local level, and then we have some really awesome bills that are being filed this session, which we couldn't say
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
years ago,
Yeah.
right? There was, the balance of bad bills to good bills was extreme, and I think we've only seen one, and that's been the what some folks call the anti-trigger law. And so if something were to happen to Roe v. Wade and it were overturned at the Supreme Court level, we can be set back
Yeah.
as a state on that.
And
so
those laws exist in states all over the country.
all over the country. And I think what advocates are doing, advocates are thinking about what could happen and taking the steps to organize their community members to make their voices heard. And I think overall, with 12 more seats, there's a lot that we can stop.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Thank you so much, Lauren, for that question. If any of you have any questions, make sure you're commenting them below. I wanted to talk about a bill that I'm really excited about, that Eric Johnson from the Dallas area just filed. It's House Bill 850, and it's an LGBTQIA plus non-discrimination bill. And so he's been filing this bill since 2011.
It's long overdue.
Long overdue, and I'm really hoping that because we have so many more progressive voices, that this gets a little bit more traction than it has before. So there are a few of the cities across Texas, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Plano, Fort Worth, that all have non-discrimination. They're all coincidentally led by great progressives who have made sure that we are hitting things at the city level when we're not getting them at the state or the federal level, which has no employment protections for LGBTQ folks. We used to have it in Houston, and that got voted down in a referendum a couple of years ago. In this horrible scare tactics that they were using at the ballot box in a special election referendum. So really, I think this is the year for this piece of legislation, and I'm really excited to see that he's been an incredible ally to the queer community, and that he's been filing this over and over and over again. And I think I'm excited to see what happens with
Absolutely, and I think you're right. This is the year it's going to get a lot of traction,
Yeah.
especially having an LGBTQ caucus.
Yes, for the first time.
For the
yeah.
first time, I think we're going to see some great champions lead on this.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And so let's move on to something else that we're seeing nationally. We're hearing a lot of talk, as we well should be, about the government shutdown. Why is this government shutdown still happening?
Why is it still happening, Charlie?
Why is this still happening? And it's because the president won't give up this border wall concept that we in this new Congress won't allow to happen, thankfully. But
Yeah.
what are we seeing?
And I think overall too, we're seeing progressives all over the country really stand up against this measure, right? And I think whether you live on the border or not, we know that it's inhumane. We know
Yep.
that this is just a whole thing to cover up the Russian investigation, and it's not helping anyone. It's not helping our federal workers. But one of the things that we've done at Progress Texas, I grew up in the Valley. I went to school in Brownsville. I really grew up in Matamoros. I crossed the border every day to go to school. I'm one of a bunch of hundreds of thousands of kids that do this. I've been living in Austin for the last 8 years. This is my home now. But what happens on the border and what happens to communities on the border is really important to me. I know it's really important to Texans all across the state. And so what we've done at Progress Texas is our in-house designer made this beautiful graphic that I think really captures the sentiment that we all feel when it comes to standing up against the border wall. And so we want to share that with y'all. It's going to be a link in the comments below section, but I think this is a really great time. Yeah, it's been over 25 days, but let's not let's not get tired of it. Let's not
Yeah.
get quiet. I think this is a great opportunity to make our voices heard, and to be relentless about it, right?
Yeah.
No, we're not going to get a wall on the border. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I'm really excited about is, yes, we have the stickers. So one, you can support our efforts if you make a donation financially to us. We can send you a sticker, and that helps us keep kind of telling these stories that are happening and keeping the media focused where it needs to be on the border wall and the people that are being affected by this shutdown. But we're also hitting it from a lot of different angles, and I'm really excited about that. We're trying to tell all the different stories about this border wall. So I just finished up a piece that'll be out right after this video about the environmental effects of the wall. So we know it's inhumane. We're telling that story too, but there are countless species that are going to be affected by this also. And so we're trying to spend the next few weeks in this No Border Wall campaign to tell those stories too, from all the different perspectives of why this border wall can't happen. So we're really excited about that. Make sure you chip in. If you have any ideas for more stories, make sure you're commenting those below. We would love to hear them. Or if you'd like to write something like that, let us know. We'd love to hear from you on that. And so let's move in. We also want to highlight during our Best of the Week, both here and in our email, ways to get involved. It's not enough to just read the news about what's happening. You got to get involved in this movement and to take action. Absolutely. So what are we seeing coming up this Saturday and Sunday,
This
Sam?
Saturday and Sunday, we have the Women's March going on in several cities across Texas. 2018, 2017 was the year of the woman. 2019 still going to be the year of woman. And women are marching or gathering, holding space together, and we'll have the links to those events in the comment section.
Thank you for that. Yeah, and they're happening all over the place.
All over.
So we're really excited about that. We're going to be covering those. We also have MLK Day coming up on Monday. So there will be parades and educational events happening all across the state. It's always a really great way to see some of your elected officials, get some face-to-face time. A lot of people will come back from DC for that and be involved in their community in that way. So making sure you're asking people your questions to your elected officials and things like that. It's also the National Day of Service. I always try to
fantastic.
spend a couple of hours on MLK Day getting involved. So they're looking for events in that space also. And then what else is coming up
And
on
then
Monday?
Tuesday is the anniversary of Roe versus Wade, and so we talked a little bit about this earlier on in the segment. But we're going to be pushing out material, just information about the court case. Why is it still important today? And also, you know, yes, the legislature has been quiet recently, but we cannot, we must continue to stay vigilant.
Yeah.
And part of some of the work that we're going to be doing on Tuesday is helping folks stay engaged, and please sign up to stay involved in the legislature, because we do suspect that something will come up when it comes to abortion access and reproductive justice,
Yeah.
and we're going to need your help.
I want to take one question on that same
do
thing
it.
while we're talking. Amber is commenting, and she's asking, what do you guys think the most dangerous bill that's been filed this session so far? I know you've been following them. We also have a great list of these, the good, bad, and the ugly bills that we filed. That's in our Best of the Week also.
Well, yes, and we'll definitely talk about, one of the things that was really interesting about going through the good, bad, and the ugly is that there's some bad stuff, but it seems like they haven't filed the extremely bad stuff
Which
yet.
they normally lead with.
Yes, yes.
God bless them.
So I don't know what's going on there, but we definitely do have some bad bills. I think the biggest one that's going to affect our progressive wins last year is going to be paid sick preemption, filed by
Kraus, yeah.
Kraus.
And that would take back some of the gains we had made in local control in some of these really progressive cities that are protecting workers. And I think that is going to be one of the ones we're watching closely. I think we had one more question. Let me find
Thanks,
it.
Amber.
Thank you, Amber. And we have new leadership in the House Dem Caucus. This is from Kathleen. The House Dem side is Turner and Israel. What do we know about their priorities, since the House still may be a moderating force for the Senate?
I think when it comes to, I think for our progressives, it's going to be education. And really making sure we get those dollars into our education system, that our teachers are being paid what they are worth. And I think for, Israel has some amazing priorities when it comes to voting and election protection.
Yeah, her work on elections has been really incredible. So I'm really excited to see what she's doing there, especially with some of our kind of coalition partners on this. We'll be definitely amplifying those voices. People like Move Texas do some great work around trying to get more folks registered to vote, but also making sure that we have better laws in that space also. So we'll be in Common Cause is another great group doing democracy work. So we'll definitely be following them as well.
I think online voter registration is going to be I think this is the year we get it passed.
Yeah.
She has continually, Representative Israel has continually been able to build bipartisan support, and I think we're really close to getting this passed.
I think you're absolutely right. And that moves into my favorite section of the Best of the Week email, the face palm. The face palm. This week being the Trump state dinner. Can you call it a state dinner?
Is it a dinner?
It's not a
It's
state
like a hangout.
A hangout,
It's like a hangout.
in which the NCAA champions were invited to the White House and served cold fast food in truly one of the most remarkable scenes in a White House I think we've ever seen. Some great internet content this week out of that.
Well, and it's bizarre too, right? I mean, he is the reason the government is shut down, yet he used it as a oh no, these athletes are hungry, let me feed them.
Let me feed them
with fast food. But he's a billionaire. Like,
Yeah. My personal favorite thing that I think shocked and awed event planners all over this wonderful nation was the mapping out of where all the food would go on the tables of the state dining room under the portrait of Abraham Lincoln in this historic space, in truly one of the most appalling things I've ever seen. But it's nice to have these light moments amongst the chaos that is this administration. God bless us. And so if there's anything we missed, make sure you're commenting that. We want to make sure we include it in our email before it goes out this afternoon. And again, sign up for that Best of the Week email to get all of this in written form and all the articles that we send out. That's progresstexas.org/subscribe. And the link is somewhere
around here. We'll be doing this every week, folks. We want to engage with you. We want y'all to connect with us. Please bring your questions here. This is the time for us to answer, help get that information out there. So let us know what you need.
Demystify what's going on.
Absolutely.
Let us know how we can help. Well, thank you, Sam, for being here.
Charlie,
Again, I'm Charlie Bonner, and this is Progress Texas Best of the Week. Thanks for joining us. Do, 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 do.